You're listening to Hip Hope. It is Scotty here with you tonight, and I'm so excited to welcome our next guest. She is a two-time Grammy-nominated artist, a Dove Award winner, the first female hip-hop headliner at the Dove Awards. Her debut album went to #1 on the Gospel Billboard chart. She's just dropped a new self-titled album. You would have heard her songs featured on ads for Apple, Netflix, ESPN, and of course, you would have heard it plenty here on Hip Hope and across Life FM, including her new single, Have Fun. Welcome to the show, Anike.
Hey.
So good to have you. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's a pleasure to connect with you.
Oh yeah, it's just awesome to be here.
Hey, I wanted to introduce you to our listeners, I suppose. So we've been playing your music for a number of years under the name One Day and now Anike, and we'll get to that name change in just a moment. But I thought, could we go back to potentially the very beginning, a bit about your background, your family, your faith, and how music comes into that? Because I believe you grew up in a Muslim home. Is that right?
Yeah, so my family, it was kind of, I would describe it like split. So 99% of my family is Muslim, but my mom was luckily got the chance to be saved whenever she was in boarding school at a Christian boarding school. But
Yeah.
yeah, just growing up with the Muslim family, she just went with what she knew and she ended up marrying my father. But so yeah, that comes fast forward to us as kids, just kind of like not realizing that, oh, like I should pursue Christ and like it's not just, oh, just choose whatever religion you want. And so luckily the Lord, he got a hold of my heart very young in middle school. So in middle school through music, I got influenced to go to a summer camp where I ended up getting saved. And
Wow.
yeah, it just changed my life so much. I realized that it's not about being a good person and stuff like that, but like Christ came to give us life and that he loves us and that you like, especially in middle school, you're like battling identity issues. So it's like you don't have to look a certain way to feel loved. You don't have to do something to get love from somebody, but Christ loves you just as you are, and he wants to just continue to refine you in holiness as you get to know him more. And it's a beautiful thing and a beautiful relationship. And so from there, I just became really passionate about telling people about Jesus. And somewhere along the way in high school, I found out I could rap. And that love just transferred into the rapping since I was getting so much attention from rapping. And along the way, he just brought me over here to, various seasons. There was definitely trials, but various seasons. And he just put me in a position to end up getting signed by the label I was interning with, which is Reach Records.
Wow. That's awesome. Now, was it at that summer camp where you gave your heart to the Lord? Was that where you were first introduced to so like Lecrae, Tadashi? There was a camp that you went to and you met those guys. Is that right?
So ironically, I didn't get to meet them and I was so sad, which is so funny how like the Lord, redeems situations. But
Yeah.
yeah, I was introduced to their music via YouTube. So I looked up like Christian remix to stuff.
Yeah.
And then I was able to find real Christian rappers like Lecrae. He dropped a song called Praying for You. And so I found out that they were performing at a camp, but I was never allowed to go because my father
Oh
only
no.
let me go on Sundays. Yeah. And so I convinced my dad, I was like, hey, they have an internship for teenagers. Can I do an internship? It's good for college. And he was like, sure, whatever. And I ended up going to that camp. Yeah. And it was cool because they performed on a Friday. So I got saved like on like maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, performed on a Friday. And yeah, I remember the line was so long to meet them. And my friends were like, let's go on the go-karts and come back. And we came back and they're like, sorry, the line is closed. And so I was so sad, but it's so funny because God literally, now I know them personally. And so it's cool how the Lord can redeem anything.
Was the go-karting worth it?
At the time, it wasn't. At the time, my friends they looked at me and they're like, I'm so sorry.
Oh no. But you've been signed with Reach Records for a while now. You had your debut album that I mentioned, #1 on the Gospel Billboard charts. But since then, you've had some changes, particularly to your name. Tell us about that transition from One Day to now Anike.
Yeah, so I changed my name just because the Lord, he told me to. And so one thing about my story, with my family not being Christian, they are just following normal Yoruba traditions. Yoruba is one of the tribes of Nigeria. And
Mhm.
so in Yoruba tradition, they have a religion called Ifa, which is not Christianity. And so in there, one of their traditions is like if somebody who's a maternal figure, like a grandmother or a mom dies and a woman is born, then they'll name her Yewande. And so Yewande means Ye is the mother, then Wande means has come back. And so it basically represents reincarnation. And obviously, as a Christian, I don't believe in reincarnation. And so, yeah, it's something that I just didn't think of deeply because, like, you carry your name for so long, like you're just get used to hearing it every single day. But then the Lord just kind of brought it to my remembrance in our quiet time of like, oh, hey, let's revisit the name situation. Remember what your name means? And I was like, oh, snap. And so then he was just like, yeah, I want you to change it. And he called me to like talk to my mom and like pray with her and fast with her. And yeah, I was able to get some new names as well. And so yeah, so now I have my new name, which is a hyphen of my middle name, which is Ireoluwa Anike, which means the goodness of God. We have something to care for. And so I'm really just excited that my new name just gives glory to the Lord because like that's what I want my whole life, my whole existence to do. And it's cool because I think God was able to use it to even shed a light to other people
Mm.
in Nigeria, in our culture as well. Like, oh, maybe I do want to examine my name. Like I have some friends at church who Yewande was their middle name, and they're like, you know what, I've always been wanting to let go of it, but I just never was bold enough to do that. And so it even encouraged them as well to let go of certain things and to spark certain conversations.
That's awesome. And that's obviously a bit of a theme then in the new album because it is self-titled. It is Anike. So take us through a bit of that process and what this new album means to you.
Yeah, so the new album is just like an act of surrender and like stepping into your new chapter. It's so funny how my last album was titled Exit, so it was almost like prophetic of
That's
like
so
I'm
true.
exiting and entering. And so it's just about like, just saying, Lord, what is your will? Let me have your will. Let me say goodbye to my ways. And just really just seeking after God. And so throughout the album, you see themes of surrender saying like, Lord, not my will be done, but your will, make me new, renew my heart, and just different stories too, like have fun. I have on there, and that's like a prodigal son story, just talking about how sometimes you may feel like you're too far, but the Lord, He's waiting for you with open arms, and the heavens actually want to rejoice and have fun whenever a sinner repents. So, have fun is a new spin on that, just saying like, hey, like they're actually waiting to rejoice whenever you repent, and they're not trying to condemn you, like they want you to come back home, and so, yeah.
We are loving Have Fun here on Life FM. We've got it playing all across the day and getting a really good response. So yeah, it's a real favorite here, along with a number of others. I wanted to talk to you about the Dove Awards. That was a couple of weeks ago now, and you're a Dove Award winner, but you got to perform, and not just perform, but you were like the first female hip hop act to really headline the Dove Awards, and you did an amazing job as well. But take us through that process. What did that feel like on the night?
Yeah, so it was beautiful. I'm so glad that I made the decision to bring my sisters along with me, because I would describe it like it almost felt like a wedding or like prom, like getting ready with your friends and like just having fun laughs and just different things like that, and people to support you, pray for you. So it was a beautiful time. Like, I'm just really glad that it was able to be represented in a beautiful light. So like certain things I'm really like big on are like modesty, so I wanted to make sure our outfits were modest. Also. I love dancing, so I was able to like incorporate dance into the choreography and into the performance. And yeah, it's just really dope with the songs too. Like we had In the Light and Yahweh. So you can see different aspects of my personality, but all the songs are giving all the glory to the Lord. So I think it was a beautiful night. I think it was feminine, but you get the feminine Christian rap and just giving all the glory to God. And I feel like it was represented in a beautiful way. So I'm glad that, God was able to choose me to bring that in for the ceremony.
It was lovely. It was a real celebration, and that really came across during the presentation and the performance as well. Just celebrating, yeah, God, but all things Christian hip hop, but particularly the female side of things. So it's great to see that getting a spotlight on the night. Hey, if people want to jump on board and follow all the things that you're up to, because you're a very busy lady, hence why I appreciate your your time today. Because I know you've been traveling recently, you've got the new album and lots of performances coming up. So to keep across all of that and to get your album and everything, what's the best way to keep in touch with you?
Yeah, luckily we made it real simple. So you can keep up with me at Anike, Anike. So yeah, Anike on Instagram, TikTok, on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, all of that. And yeah.
Nice and simple, and we'll tag you in all of our socials and everything as well, so people can jump on and hit that follow button. But Anike, it's been a real pleasure to speak with you today and to get to know a little bit more about you and your heart behind the music that you're doing, and a bit about that family background. Really interesting as well. So thank you so much for being so open and sharing with us today. We really appreciate it, and God bless you on everything that you're working on.
No, thank you. I appreciate just having me and being here. And hey, shout out to you representing 116.
Thanks. Love it. Cheers.
We came to set us free.